Hi, my name is Taylor Kalman Fukushima. This month is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And in honor of that, we're here to share about the work my dad is doing in order to help alleviate the suffering of pediatric cancer. We're from San Luis Obispo, where our foundation is based, and I'd love to share a bit about why the fight against pediatric cancer is so important to our family. The very best man for the job is my dad and the executive director of NKids Cancer, Frank Kalman.
Thank you, Taylor, for the introduction. I graduated from Cal Poly in 1984. Our foundation's impact is felt not only locally, nationally, but we've helped families internationally as well. Our mission is to raise funds for research to stop the suffering and loss caused by childhood cancer. There are children in our communities all across the country with a deadly form of childhood cancer called neuroblastoma, the most common cancer amongst infants and young children. It steals more years of life than any other childhood cancer or any cancer. These children are fighting for their lives. Fewer than half will survive. What we bring to the table is we know with absolute precision who the leaders are in the fight against this awful disease. These doctors are keeping children alive that other centers have turned away and told their parents to go home and call hospice. I know this firsthand. These doctors saved our daughter's life. Our family story began 20 years ago when our oldest daughter, Callie, Taylor's oldest sister, was diagnosed with this rare form of pediatric cancer. The doctors told us that she wasn't going to make it after she relapsed. This started the fight of our lives. I started reading the medical literature, traveled to cancer conferences, and took our daughter to the top centers focused on her disease throughout the country. Over the next several years, the cancer came back 5 more times. She had over 300 weeks of, she had been received over 300 weeks of chemotherapy, 50 weeks of radiation, had 3 major surgeries, and was involved in nearly 12 clinical trials. While her battle was absolutely brutal, she was one of the lucky ones. In the beginning of her journey, we became close friends with 8 other families whose children were battling the same disease. These families weren't as lucky as us. While Callie was relapsing, their kids were dying. And when that last child died is when we decided to start NKids Cancer. Prior to starting the foundation, we had learned or knew that the major cancer foundations were only providing 1% for pediatric cancer research. The government was only spending 4%. Besides the leading cancer researchers joining and helping NKids Cancer, we had Hollywood actors like the nephew of President John F. Kennedy help start our foundation. And even your president, Dr. Jeffrey Armstrong, stepped up to help and joined our advisory board. The 2 major tools used to fight cancer, chemotherapy and radiation, cause cancer, leaving a child to face the deadly long-term side effects of these treatments. That is why everything we have been supporting has been focused on training the child's own immune system to fight cancer, and it is working. In terms of research, we've provided support for a vaccine trial that reduced the relapse rate by 50% for a certain group of kids. Our early research funding for 2 other drugs helped establish proof of concept that was followed by multi-million-dollar investments by the Food and Drug Administration and the National Cancer Institute. We also hit a milestone when the FDA recently gave accelerated approval for a drug we had provided early support for. This is very rare. This has happened only 6 times in the past 20 years. Adults, on the other hand, have had 126 drugs approved during the same time. One of the most devastating pieces of news I have to share with you is that many children do not get the treatments that could save their lives. This is because their parents and doctors are unaware of them. We wrote a cancer guidebook that helps parents find the most effective treatments. We sent a copy of our cancer guidebook to then Vice President Joe Biden, and he invited us to the White House to represent pediatric cancer research at the Cancer Moonshot Summit on 2 separate occasions. Our newest initiative is prevention. Even though the effectiveness of cancer treatments are extending the life of children fighting cancer, the incidence of cancer and birth defects are on the rise. The doctor who is considered the leader in the field has joined our foundation to help distill decades of his research onto a short laminated 2-page document that will help parents reduce their child's exposure to environmental toxins that cause these horrible diseases. An update on Callie. Callie graduated from Cal Poly. She married her sweetheart, and she recently turned 32. My invitation to you is, would you consider donating to End Kids Cancer to help make sure kids have a better chance of beating pediatric cancer? Please call me anytime at 805-550-7682 or email me at frank@endkidscancer.org. Our website is endkidscancer.org. Thank you for considering joining our fight. Taylor, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I just thank you so much for your consideration. This is such an important cause, and I hope that you'll join us.